W11 and we are up against Jedi Assassins. This time my team will be Tigra, Kitty and Diablo. I will be taking path 3 in section 1, path 8 in section 2, a Longshot mini-boss on the Conflictor node, and the Thing boss with Tigra. As well as a few shared fights, but we'll get to those later. Up first we have this Mephisto, and I will be taking him with Kitty. The only real issue on this node is the static defense shocks, but Kitty will just heal from them with her phasing. I have half recoil on for the poison debuff, just so I have more damage. I'll get free healing with Kitty, and it'll help with the Diablo against node 20 Man-Thing. I can basically just ignore the shocks altogether. They don't really do any damage, and most of the time I will be phasing anyways. I need to get him low enough to trigger his regen, after which I will finish the fight with a single special too. Then we have this Kingpin, and this is just another easy Kitty fight. All I need to really do here is just bait his special one, and that's it. Yeah, I suck at dexing his special ones. I'm not a god like some other YouTubers. But I'm doing my best. I'm sure I'll get there at some point. I was gonna bait one last special from him, but I figured that my special 2 would finish the job anyways, so I go for it. Then we have another Man-Thing on node 20, and I will be using Diablo like I always do. The setup for this fight is to have recoil on, at least the poison debuff, but you can also have the bleed one on. You'll need to use the nullify pre-fight, and well, it's not needed, but you should use an advanced power boost as well. And of course you need to have Mystic Dispersion. As many levels as you can. I'm putting on the advanced power boost here as to not waste any time. I will need it for my next fight as well. Oh, and the mystic power boosts are not necessary for this fight. I put them on because the next fight I have is a Tigra fight. So the plan here is to trigger his Unstoppable on his heavy attacks as well as the Masochism node, defeat Mystic Dispersion and get to my special 3 without using up all my hits from the combo counter node. Always make sure that the Masochism node is on cooldown before you throw your special 3, otherwise all your poison debuffs will get shrugged off. At this point all you need to do is keep the poisons up by either pausing them with your special 1 or re-triggering them with your special 2. But again, remember, always trigger Masochism before you try to re-trigger the poisons. This is probably one of the cleanest Man-Thing solos I have had here. And then we have this Hulkling on the Power Snack node. I will be using Tigra, and the plan is basically the same as it was on the Conflictor miniboss node last war. I parry him at the start and hit him with my light attack to trigger neutralize. That way he doesn't gain any buffs when he hits my block. I bait out 2 heavy attacks from him and punish them with my heavy. to stack up a couple ruptures and gain more power. The more ruptures I have, the more damage my special does. Even if that first special 2 didn't finish it, I had another special 2 ready to throw. Then we have yet another Mordo on Mixmaster. I will be using Kitty Pryde with the White Magneto pre-fight. I'm sure you've all seen this fight by now, but I'll explain it anyways. I used the White Magneto pre-fight to build up my prowess early on, and I will only be doing medium light combos to play the Mixmaster node. I keep doing the medium light combos even when he has a bar of power. If he throws it, I will just face it and nothing happens. The unblockable is from the Tigra synergy, which makes you get easy openings whenever you want them. And yeah, that's basically all there is to it. If you accidentally trigger dexterity on this fight, all you need to do is either land an intercept or just parry and hit him once and wait it out. Hopefully this isn't such a common placement next season. Next up is Nick Fury on the defective defense node. I'm using Kitty Pryde, but I did remove my recoil masteries here because of the heal block passive. This is basically the same as any other Nick Fury fight on any other node, I just can't parry at the start. Yeah, this is another one of those slower kitty fights, because there isn't really an easy and safe way to build my prowess. After using specials, I decide to not throw them. I do my best to try to bait his special 2s instead, so that there is no risk of getting caught. After hitting him a couple times, I briefly hold my block before dashing away to bait his heavy attacks. It doesn't always work, but it's still a good thing to know. Here he throws his special 1, which gets him past the 20 tactical charges, so now he can miss again. So instead of eating his special 1, I had to partially dex it. Next up is this Black Widow Voyant on the first node on path 8. I will be using Kitty Pryde again, and I went and put my recoil masteries back on. This really shouldn't be a difficult fight at all for Kitty, but it turns out it was actually scarier than that Nick Fury before. I don't parry at the start, so I don't get the armor up buff from the node, because I don't wanna feed her Mystic Dispersion. Getting that armor buff at the start would also trigger the global when it gets nullified, so I wanted to avoid that. She's way too close to special 3 here, so I need to bait out her special. Luckily she did throw it. And now with the global on cooldown, there is nothing for me to worry about anymore. All I need to do is get her a bit lower and finish it with my special 3. Then we have this Sersi, and I will be taking her down with Tigra. Normally I would remove my recoil masteries for Tigra fights, but I figured that there really shouldn't be an issue here. At the start I parry her and hit her a few times to trigger the neutralize, to avoid any possibility of her triggering her glancing buff or the transmutation buffs. She really doesn't wanna throw a heavy here, so after pounding my block for a bit, I go ahead and tap her with my light attack to re-trigger the neutralize. She didn't wanna go for the heavy, so I switched my plan and tried to bait her special 1 instead, but she didn't go for that either, so I just go and drop my special 2. I didn't expect this to kill, but it did give me enough power for another one. Now for my last kitty fight for the war is this Longshot on the Conflictor miniboss node. I have the White Magneto pre-fight here, so I can freely parry him without worrying about the Conflictor. And to build up my prowess faster. I basically do the same thing as I do against the Mixmaster node and only use medium light combos. This way Longshot doesn't gain the prowess or the block penetration. I fully block his special ones to avoid both Mystic Dispersions, the Mastery and the Global. While Longshot has a bar of power, I stop going for the medium light combos only, and I pause after dashing back. I do that in case he goes and throws a special one. He can't miss, which normally wouldn't be an issue for Kitty, but the second hit of his SP1 has too long of a gap after the first one, so my phasing can end before it connects. And if I'm not phasing when the second hit connects and he would have the Peer of Heart active, it would be lights out for Kitty. And yeah, I have no clue why I used that special 3. I knew it wouldn't finish him, so it was very dumb and very risky. Then we have another thing boss that I'm gonna be taking with Tigra. However, there is one difference here. I'm taking it with the brute force link still up. I've taken him so many times with Tigra that I'm very confident in the fight, which is why I'm taking this in the first place. But everything doesn't exactly go as I planned. I'll let this fight play out until the interesting stuff starts happening. Okay, here we go. This is my first mistake. I use my special 2 without paying close enough attention to his rock stacks. So he is left at 15 stacks and my neutralize has fallen off. Now I really need to bait a special. I can't hit him once or he will go unstoppable. Not being able to hit him there led to me taking way too much damage from the brute force node and losing way too much time on my senses. You could say that I got lucky that he threw his special 2 when he did, otherwise I would have been in way more trouble than I already am. The rest of the fight goes without any issues, but this is probably the worst Tin boss solo that I have had in a very long time. Took about a minute longer than it normally does. My group ended up beating theirs 1-0, but unfortunately we ended up losing the war 3-2.